Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and I am here for it's time to do sketch number 6 from the number Creative Memories Virtual Crop. We've been working our way through the last 3 sketches, and tonight it's the last one, and hopefully I will get the bonuses live streamed this weekend as well. I'll try to give you all a little bit of an extra heads up, kind of like I did with the first live stream tonight. But let's go ahead and get rolling with this sketch. And here we go. So this one I really thought had a lot going on. Excuse me there, goodness. I really thought had a lot going on this sketch, and I tried to simplify it a bit. But I also wanted to use up some of my scraps from some of the previous sketches that I've done, because I did challenge myself to work with secret box number 4 for all of the sketches this month. So here is my cutting guide if you want to get a screenshot of it, of what I am using. And if you'll remember, sketch number 3, that was a little bit of a disaster from the road, had a lot of circles on it. And so I actually had these pieces. Let me show you. Hang on. Let me pull these off first. So I'm using this. Let me move that sketch piece aside. So I'm using this just leaf page here that has the white leaves on it. It has the orange stripes on the back side of it, which my light is picking up kind of funny, but there you go. And this is going to be my base. And then what I did was I'm taking the vellum that had the yellow dots on it. And I guess really, I don't know if with vellum, if you have to really turn it over at all or not, but this is what we're using. And I've got my vellum tape runner going here, and we are going to get this stuck down, because on the sketch, it showed a couple of frames is what spoke to me. And I thought, you know, I don't have that much paper left from the secret box, because I've used most of it on these sketches. And I'll show you at the end what I have left. And we'll see if I have time to do anything with some of the rest of it later. But then we also had this other piece that was from the green part of it, which also has that repeating leaf pattern on it. And I thought it just really brings in what we see here in the base of the page as well, which, I mean, I know the pictures are the main star, but it's also nice if our pictures have a beautiful place to rest on as well. And let's see here. Let me just add just a tiny bit more there. Okay. Flip this over, and then I'm going to show you the sketch again so that way you all can see. And then you also, if I mentioned it in sketch 4, but if you didn't hear it, I do actually have a short on YouTube that shows what the vellum looks like, the tape runner, on both light and dark bases. So that way, I mean, you can see right now it pretty much disappears, which is what we want, because the vellum is basically clear and you don't want the tape showing through it. But I did a comparison with the tape runner and the repositionable tape runner, so that way everybody could see the difference. Okay, these are not working for me. Let me pull the sketch first, and then I'll fix my table here. But you can see this is what kind of spoke to me and kind of made me really think about, hey, I can really use these scraps. I'm going to create a frame, but instead of a square frame, I'm going to create a round frame. And, you know, the sketches are guides, kind of like what I say about recipes all the time. Recipes are guides as well. I am a chef. So I'm not the best rule follower a lot of the time, and I just kind of like to do some creative things from time to time. So there are those. I did use Elements Edge and Sunshine Arches border maker cartridges in this layout. I'm going to move those to the side so that way I can actually move some of this other stuff and move this up a little bit better on the camera for you all. Here we go. Okay. Whew, I feel better now. So I have some stickers I pulled. I also have this frame that was in the box. And this also kind of spoke to me a little bit about the whole frame part. I am going to go ahead and put it down with just a little bit of repositionable tape in the corners, because then that way I can slide a picture in and you won't see as much of the shading from the vellum that's there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going on here. And we're just going to get this up in this right corner. I'm going to give it about a 1/4 inch from the corner, both on the top and on the side. So there we go. That really also spoke to me a good bit. These pieces are actually going to go on this side. And then I have my sunshine arches are actually going to go up, because then I've got these pieces. And I punched these pieces out, and I actually need to fix one of them real quick with my scissors. But those were scraps for me. I actually had used the orange stripes, which is the base page, on another layout. And we're actually going to go ahead and use it as the orange on here, or actually maybe the green. Yep, we're going to pull the base back in and bring the repeating colors. But let me cut this off real quick. Grab my favorite micro tip scissors. And I just want to take this little end stem off of there, because that's going to go down here. And this was a little bit wider than that one. So I'm just going to cut it in half first, and then I'm going to take the little end of the stem off of there as well. So those are going to go on those two ends. And then I had this extra little piece as well. Like I said, I was looking at using those on a different layout, but it just didn't work out for me. And then I also have 3 4x4 mats for the bottom of the layout. And this one I'm kind of going to center a little bit. And then the other 2 I'm going to kind of angle in, which is a little bit different also from the layout as well. But it's what I did. And then the title box is 3.5 by 5, and I'm going to show you a little something special with that as well. So let me go ahead and get this up in the top corner there first. And here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and give this about a 1/4 inch as well from the 2 edges, although it looks like I went closer to a 1/2 on the side and a 1/4 on the top. And then I'm going to get this one centered down here. Oops, put a little bit more than I was anticipating, but that's okay. And this one's going to be about a 1/4 inch from the bottom and somewhat centered here. If you want, you can pull out your 0 centering ruler and your 13 by 13 mat. But this piece was the scrap left over from doing the 10-inch by 12-inch piece for our last layout. And then I just took it and ran it through the sunshine arches to use up one of the scraps from cutting those other pieces. I really was trying hard to work with what I have and continue on with challenging myself to use up as much of the secret box as I can. And we're going to have 6 layouts by the time we're done with this. Okay, so let's put this running through the middle here. There we go, that looks pretty good. And then these are going to go on top. Let me get my repositionable tape. I am working on my parchment board, which I did show in a couple of the other videos if you want to know more about that as well. Try to get this lined up here. There we go. This one is a little bit tricky. This flourish vine does have a lot of little cutouts in it, and so it's easy to catch on the tape runner. So be careful not to push too hard with your tape runner when you're using it, so that way you don't pick up some of these little swirl pieces that are coming off of here and rip one by accident. It's definitely interesting working with this one, but it has a lovely effect and I really am enjoying it. There we go. All right, so our flourish vine is now down, and I'm going to go ahead and get our other two mats down, and I'm going to use the repositionable tape for those. Let's see, are we angling in? Are we angling out? I think we're going to angle. You know what? I think we might angle out. Originally, I was thinking of angling in, but we're not going to do that. And I'm actually just putting my tape runner on the parts that I know are not going to overlap with where my other picture is going to be. So that way, when I go to place my picture, I can just grab my multi-purpose tool, slide it under, and be able to get my picture matted quickly and efficiently at the time. So let me double check this one as well. And we're gonna try to, are we angling? We are angling. Here we go. Okay, this corner. Goodness. You can tell I've done a couple live streams tonight. I'm losing track of which way I'm angling here now. There we go. Well, maybe I didn't quite go the right way. Actually, I think I went closer to what the actual sketch is doing, which one is going one way, one other, both going the same direction. Mine are going opposite directions, but that's okay too. So you can see where this one had the two borders, but it also does have our title. It has some extra little embellishments. I am not going to do these bottom embellishments just because my border takes up a little more space and my pictures are hitting the bottom and I just don't have space for it. And I think we have enough else going on the page that we don't really need it. I had this little title left, this So Grateful. And you know what I haven't used yet tonight are our foam squares. So I'm going to grab out a couple foam squares for this. Not just because I haven't used them, but because I think it will really help pop our title on this layout. And I just loved that this one brings in the mustardy color that's also in our border with the sunshine arches. Here we go. And then I went ahead and did the navy for the mats because I figured it pulled out this as well. So it's always nice to repeat some of the colors and really blend what you have on your page. I also found these little mustard colored stickers on our sticker set. And so I'm going to just kind of angle those down. Whoops. Okay, multi-purpose tool. Let's see if I can get this one wedged out from there. There we go. Okay, I wanted it under, not over. And this one's going to come out and down this other way, except for the plastic sticking on my hand. And now let me just go ahead and get this one under here as well. There we go. So we have our little flowers falling there. This one I am going to see if I can also get up on a foam square because I want to place it on this corner here. But since we're going to be lifting this to put our picture on, I don't want it to be set on there, and I'm hoping I can't see it through there yet. There's just enough of the dark mustard colored in there, so our foam square is not going to show through. Thank goodness. And we're going to get that placed on there. And if you really want, you can actually put the foam square onto the sticker first. Put a little bit of baking soda since it's neutral and it won't damage any of your photos. And then that'll take the stick away from the bottom of the sticker. And then we also had one more little one of these. And I thought, you know, let's create our own little cluster over here. And I'm going to have this one kind of going also a little bit more onto this little mat as well. I don't necessarily want it sticking as much to the vellum because, again, I want to be able to lift this up and put my picture under it later. So just double checking that and making sure. And I think that's it. I've used up all my pieces I had set aside for this layout. Here is a closer look at sketch number 6. And I've got a little bit of brightness coming through. It's hard to see though. There it is. the Element's Edge border there. And that's it. Let me show you the sketch one more time. Oh, and also I was going to show you real quick because you're probably wondering, this is also our journal box. And I did use the navy. You could add a white piece because we do have the white in this as well. But if you don't want to do that, I actually grabbed a scrap of my navy cardstock and my chalking pen. And this is so fabulous that you just write, and it's clear when you first write. But if you give it just a moment, if I can pick it up and get it closer to the camera for you, look at that. You see how the white comes through and it shows up just beautifully on the navy. And you can write whatever you want in your journal box. Grab a white chalking pen, and then you don't have to worry about adding that extra little piece of cardstock or whatever to your layout. But of course, that's up to you. Now, here is the final bit of what I have left from secret box number 4. So I can see where I might need to do one more layout with it or something. I do have a couple of complete sheets of vellum. I do still have the circle from that other layout number 3. I have part of our index sheet. I have another half circle out of vellum and some corners that I didn't get used yet. I have one complete sheet, 12-inch sheet of designer paper. And then I have a couple of larger pieces, but I mostly just have strips and pieces left, as well as a few bits of my cardstock, some of our titles, a few more stickers. Oops. And it's a little bit messy here. It's usually not quite this messy here, but I did dump it out so I could see and match colors and figure out what I wanted to use on the last 3 layouts tonight just to get them done. Okay, that one says hello. I was wondering what that one said. But anyway, so we have a few more of the laser cut words, a few more stickers, and I do have a good bit of vellum left. But beyond that, really just one sheet and a few scraps of the designer paper, some scraps of the cardstock I added along the way, and that's it. Not too bad. I used up a good chunk of the secret box, and who knows, maybe some of it will get worked into the bonuses here and there if it matches what I'm working with, and maybe it'll show up next month or the month after, depending on what inspires me. Oops, let me get things switched over. Here we go. So that is it for the original sketches, the six sketches from the Creative Memories Virtual Crop. And I will be joining you again later this weekend. I believe there's 2 bonus sketches, but honestly, with my traveling, I have lost track a little bit. I have seen that there are bonuses that went out, but I didn't explore to see how many there actually were. So those will probably come on Sunday, is what I'm thinking, but just keep an eye on my channel, and you never know when I might be popping in with those last 2, hopefully, bonus sketches coming up later this weekend. Until next time.